stopped at this amazing stop. You can see the train tracks right down there, and the street like comes from back there and it ropes like all the way up here, and then you end up coming up here and it keeps going, and there are parking spots all along where you can stop and enjoy this beautiful view. It's just amazing. Good afternoon. It is 2:45 and we have arrived in a little town by the Bodensee, and we're going to stop here for a quick bite to eat before we make our way back to the freeway to go to Munich today. And this is a really cool little place, and we're going to show you a little bit around the Bodensee. The Bodensee, for those of you who don't know, is the lake that borders Switzerland right over there and Germany right over here. So it's one of the largest lakes, I believe, in Germany still, and part of Switzerland, obviously. And so there's a lot of sailing going on, a lot of sail vessels right here, docked on that little thing. You got ducks right here. We still got our ducks in a row. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, we are now at a little place called Hafenmauer 1826. Right there. And it is a little restaurant directly on the water. So it's just a gorgeous day today. We're enjoying now a little stop before we keep going on. We did have a little hiccup when we left Colmar, and here's a little travel tip for you. If you have passports and you put them in your safe,
or anything,
and you put that in your safe, make sure you don't forget that when you leave. We actually did forget, and we had to turn around. So here's a little travel tip. Put your car key in there as well. Chances are you're probably not going to need the car key while you're doing excursions in the city. So that way, when you leave, you're not going to forget your car keys. You're not going to forget what you had in your safe. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is called currywurst. And it basically has a ketchup, tomato-based sauce. And this one has peppers and stuff in it, but usually it just is the tomato-based sauce with curry, and served with French fries. And Glenda opted in for a salad because everything we've eaten so far was very heavy on the stomach, so a little bit lighter works. And we're enjoying it with this view. Can't beat that. All right, lunch was fantastic, and now we are going to walk around a little bit. This is the customs office. Huh? What do you mean? Oh.
Don't walk off of there.
No, I'm not off of there. Yeah, Clinton was like, "Don't walk down. Oh no, I don't want to fall."
And the Deutsche dog on the dog poop.
Yeah, the dog, you can actually tie up your dog right there. So you don't have to bring him inside. Everything is very dog friendly here in Germany. You can bring your dogs into restaurants for the most part. Not all restaurants, but a lot of them. Oh, and then little cute little faces here. Ducks swimming along, having a good time. There's a duck with a red beak. Interesting. And yes, these are all sailing schools. So you can, oh, they're getting married right there. And they're getting married right there. How beautiful. Leaving the calm waters of Ludwigshafen behind, we finally hit the road from Munich. It was a perfectly scenic drive right up until... Too much scenery, not enough speedometer, busted at 4 miles per hour over. The surprises didn't stop at the ticket. Between a Zeppelin sighting and a heavy downpour, a gorgeous full rainbow eventually guided us straight into Munich. We hit the Rathaus for a quick selfie and ended our day at the legendary Hofbräuhaus with a pretzel nearly as big as Glenda. Okay, we are inside of the Frauenkirche in Munich. If you saw the previous video of 2 days in Munich, well, let's come see. I wasn't able actually to get into this church, but today I am, so took full advantage of this, and this is an incredible sight. Okay, so this is called the Empty Grave, and it is a monument that reminds of the Kaiser or Emperor Ludwig von Bayern, who lived from 1282 to 1347. And he was laid to rest in this church alongside his wife, Beatrix. But in 1468, both of those were removed and moved somewhere else. And this was put in place in memory of the grave that was here. So it is an empty grave, and the detail on these is just incredible. I mean, it's just amazing. The this church was almost completely destroyed in the Second World War, and it was rebuilt. But look at on the wall, these paintings. And the cross, huge cross there. Sure. So again, if you've not watched my previous video of Munich, 2 days in Munich, go check out the videos. I'll put a link in the description below, and see if this is something if this is something you would be interested in seeing if you were to visit Munich. And we are now down in the catacombs underneath the church, and this is who else is buried there in 1552. She's the Tochter Herzog Albrecht, Herzog von Bayern, Ludwig. Here's Kaiser Ludwig. So those were the remains and Beatrix that were buried under that thing that we saw in the very beginning, and they were moved over here. So that was in 1294 to 1328. 1347 is when he died, and then all his heirs. There's Queen Marie Theresa of Bayern. There's King. That's because he is probably the Prince of Maria, and that's why he has the middle name. That's usually what happened. Same thing with Dietlinde. Well, that's Maria Theresa. Dietlinde, she's the Königlich, she's a princess. And Notburga was the second Caroline, was the second princess. Yeah, so Caroline would kill us. So this is cool. And then these are the cardinals. 1913, 1901 to 1943. And I guess these are empty ones. Quite the statue down here. There's a bell. So legend has it that the devil helped or offered to help the builder of this church, and the builder accepted that help. And the devil had one condition. He didn't want to see any windows in the church. And so the builder agreed. And when the devil first stepped foot in the church and stand here, he did not see any windows because of the pillars. And so he was very pleased and stamped his foot on the ground, and that's what you see here. So this is the devil's footprint. But when he took a step forward, you could actually start seeing the windows. So this was the builder created this on purpose in a way that you could not see the windows, and the windows would be covered by the pillars. And so it's kind of cool. So that was the devil's footprint. You can see that at the very beginning when you first enter the church. Okay, I feel like I did this once before, and in fact I actually did. If you watch one of the previous videos of Munich, you can see this church in this video as well. However, there were stands across this whole place back when I was here last time, and now these are all gone. So now you can actually see the entire place and the spectacular architecture of this. So it's surrounded by a lot of other buildings. Just to sum it up, if you want to know more detail about it, I talked about it in the previous video, but this is commemorated for the king and queen of finally having a baby boy, and that's was what they was built for, in commemoration of that, or celebration rather of that. And so, and then on the other side is where the residence starts. So this has been the house and home for the kings and queens for multiple generations and centuries. So again, this is also in the previous video, so I'm not going to film much of that. Okay, tell me you cannot imagine a horse-drawn carriage coming down here, cluck, 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 and into the courtyard of the residence. It's just spectacular. And then you've got the Treasury Museum right in here. And look at just to go through, I'm not even going to go through but man, it's just incredible, the detail of everything, the lights. So we are now inside one of the courtyards, or one of the passages that goes through the residence to the other side. From the royal halls of the residence to the shaded Hirschgarten, Munich shows a whole different side. Glenda went all in, lifting a mass like a true local, while Deer wandered right up to us. History, nature, and beer, all in one perfect afternoon. And that pretty much sums up our last day in Munich. Next, we hit the road to Frankfurt. These are the kind of random things you'd see in the at the rest stops here in Germany. Where we are right now in the rest stop, and there's a Saturn V rocket here, and I'm not sure why. Well, apparently there is a museum in Hermann Oberth Raumfahrt Museum close by here, and they have a Saturn V rocket. Stuff you thought you never knew. Our whirlwind trip through Europe has taken us from the charming streets of Hamer and Menden, across Kiel's waterfront, the canals of Amsterdam, the sparkling champagne cellars of Reims, the storybook alleys of Colmar, and finally to the beer gardens and palaces of Munich. Every city offered its own surprises, flavors, and memories. And now, as we look out the window on our flight back to the US, it's hard not to feel grateful for every moment. If you enjoyed traveling with us, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned for more adventures.